Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out True Off My Chest. Story 1. My ex-husband, 43M, was inappropriate with an 18-year boy. An update. I posted around a month ago about a very complicated and upsetting situation with my husband who I caught aggressively pursuing our mutual friend's 18-year foster son. The situation is not fully resolved, but I am feeling alone with my thoughts, so I thought I would post a final update. The other posts will be on my profile. I left my husband shortly after I made my first post. I have never seen any possibility of reconciliation. We are completely separated, but divorce proceedings are ongoing. He is no longer allowed to contact me. I had to take legal action due to being inundated with calls and messages which ranged from pleading for forgiveness to blaming the younger man to blaming me, including hurtful personal attacks. He is currently complying and I am no longer being contacted by him. 18M's mental health was already fragile, and this seems to have been exacerbated by my husband's behavior towards him. He was involuntarily admitted to a mental health ward shortly after I made my second post. He is still there, and as far as I am aware there are no current plans for him to be discharged due to how ill he is. I know that the situation with my husband was a factor because he was extremely distressed when it all came to light, and he wrote several letters to me. I don't know how to put this sensitively, but the letters were very clearly not written by someone who is mentally well. Before he went to hospital his behavior was quite bizarre and dangerous. He wasn't sleeping, was wandering at night to dangerous places, was hearing voices and harming himself in disturbing ways. He was swallowing small batteries, trying to drink cleaning products, burning his face. I know very little about his progress because his parents don't talk to me about it, which I understand. They say they don't blame me, which I appreciate, but I understand they no longer feel the same about me. I am not in contact with my ex, so my information about him is second-hand. He has blamed his actions on confusion about his sexuality and overconsumption of particular genres of porn, neither of which are remotely acceptable excuses. He also attempted to blame 18M for pursuing him. This would not be an excuse even if it were true, but 18M gave his parents full access to his phone and messaging history, so I know exactly how it played out. My ex was aggressive in his messages and 18M was quite obviously uncomfortable throughout. I am currently living with a friend. Not many people know the full story, mainly out of respect for 18M and his parents. I am also ashamed of what my ex-husband has done. Everyone knows we are separated. I have made some people aware that he was inappropriate with a much younger vulnerable person because I am concerned he could put other young people at risk. I have been focusing mainly on work, but I am finding things difficult emotionally. I think it may be time for me to speak to a counselor. Story 2. The last 10 years I said to myself, you've made it through another winter, but your world is no warmer. I don't think I'll make it to the 25th. I'm sad. I have no family. I hate holidays. I just started talking to my brother again after years. I forgave him because he said he was going to have him and his 3 friends beat me up. I'm just desperate for love from a family. I am externally and internally alone. I give up. Story 3. Going to a family party on my own. So the lowdown: I have been invited to my cousin's surprise party in a couple weeks' time, but none of my immediate family are attending. I do really want to go as family will be there, but I'm anxious about walking into the party on my own and having no one to socialize with whilst I'm there. I definitely want to go, and my best friend was supposed to come with me, but for personal reasons she can't go. Any tips on how to not let my anxiety get to me? Thank you. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 4. My mother makes me very anxious. I have mommy issues. I'm early 20s, still living with parents, normal in my country. I always feel judged by her. Every comment seems to be a demand, command, or complaint about my behavior or personality, diet, grooming, me going out or not going out enough. When are you gonna do this or that? If I don't go to the gym for 3 or 4 days, she reminds me. When she's present I start feeling anxiety even if she says nothing because I'm expecting her to. Her tone has that bitter passive-aggressive nuance that makes me feel agitated. I don't think I ever got love from her. I started visiting my grandparents more often, father's side, because they live very close by and I enjoy being with them. I don't feel judged at all with them. My mother thinks I visit them too often, always says the same thing every fucking day. I actually feel great around them. My grandma offers me all the food I want and always has the chocolate bars I like in the fridge, and my grandpa tells me stories from his. At this exact moment while writing this she told me to take a shower, even though I took one earlier, and she said okay in a passive-aggressive tone. I snapped, fuck, you can't make this shit up, youth. She told she will never talk to me again, but I'm laughing here knowing that in a couple of days the first thing she will say to me is how I left a glass of water on the counter, or I will be eating some honey with walnuts, and by the third spoonful she will ask me if that's enough. I feel calmer now. It's tough for me to call her abusive, because she doesn't insult me, but when every little interaction from your mother feels like a demand, no show of love or affection, always demanding or complaining about things with a sour face and disappointment, it takes a toll. So I guess I have to accept it as abuse. I had this idea that if the mother of my children was like that, I would feel very bad. And if any other woman behaved like this with me, I would think she's a pain in the ass and ignore her as much as possible. Story 5. Update: I ended my relationship with my ex who bought me cruise tickets for my birthday. The day I wrote my post is the day I ended things with my ex. When he came home, I basically said I found the tickets for the cruise and I asked him who they were for. He said they were for me for my birthday and I ruined the surprise. I asked him why did he get me tickets for a cruise when he knows that I get seasick and also when he knows that I have been preparing for a Ren Fair festival for a couple of months. He said that he always liked cruises when he went on them and he thought that I could push through it with patches or some other remedy because it was a really expensive cruise. He continued talking, but TBH, I spaced out because I realized just how much this man didn't care about me. He bought cruise tickets completely disregarding what I had planned, how I would feel, and what I wanted to do, all because he liked them. Like fuck my birthday, fuck what I want, fuck how sick I get. He likes cruises so we should do that. I think he realized I wasn't speaking or excited because he asked me what was wrong and I broke up with him. He was shocked and angry and he asked why. This isn't the exact wording but I said something like, it's because I have realized how much you really don't care about me and that you're always willing to put your wants over mine every time it suits you, even on my birthday. He started to argue and wanted to talk about it but I was just numb and went to bed on the couch. After 2 hours of trying to speak to me, he left me alone. I woke up the next day and got ready for work. I oddly felt fine and he wanted to talk but I just said I'm done, and if he wanted to talk about the apartment or what we would do about the lease or anything regarding the end of the relationship, I'm okay with that. I told him I'm not changing my mind about this and for me, this relationship is done and I just want to split amicably. While I was at work that day, I had free time and I wrote down every instance I could remember just in the last 6 months of him choosing his wants/needs over mine. It was nearly 3 pages front to back and I didn't even realize how much I let go off because he didn't want to do it. When I went home and he tried to talk again, I gave him the list and I explained what it was. He left me alone the rest of the second night. He's still not accepting the breakup. He wants to do couples therapy now or even go on a break because he realizes how much he has done, but nope, I'm not doing it. I'm not trying to be mean or harsh to him but I don't want to give him false hope. I also feel weirdly okay but also numb at the same time. What I have to deal with now is breaking the lease, which he isn't willing to do because he thinks we can move past this. So I'm going to talk to the leasing office and see my options. At least I have my birthday to look forward to as I deal with a relationship ending and having to find a new place to live. Story 6. My dad saw my sex toys. I, 15M, had a fever. I had the chills and my body was aching and so sore. This might sound super stupid but I had 2 of them just sitting in this dresser with a glass opening. I forgot what it was called. One of them was pretty big and you could very clearly see the ass and the scrotum and the hole if you looked close enough. Once my dad came back to give me this drink after dumping one of those things that dissolve in water. He saw it and asked what is this and I said I didn't answer but he looked around room in disbelief and said anyways just finish drinking that and you'll feel better and left the room. Story 7. I just overheard the most brutal conversation between two girls. Not gonna lie, I feel like I have fucked up thoughts sometimes. Nah, we all do. I feel like short and ugly men shouldn't exist, ha ha ha. They shouldn't, they'll just create more ugly children. Like sometimes I look at a kid and I'm like, your future's gonna suck. Holy absolute fuck. Story 8. I hate that people care about me. Story 9. I'm changing my boyfriend. My boyfriend and I got together about 5¾ months ago, and everything was going well until someone brought up the me that I've been making stupid jokes and being excessively rude. I noticed it a little bit, too, and I started taking my meds. Well, now that I'm on them, I've been able to think clearer, and I've noticed a massive change in personality in my boyfriend. He's hanging around the friend that tries to be a therapist a lot more than usual, and he's been trying to avoid me. His personality has been changing into quiet, less outgoing, and more reserved. I'm genuinely scared I'm going to lose him. He's pretty much everything I've got. Story 10. My parents gave away my dog and I miss her. Title pretty much says it all. Sometime last year I got a dog, a black lab Great Pyrenees mutt/mix, with my ex. I was still in high school, my senior year, and the dog stayed at said ex's house. When me and my ex broke up, the POS told me, and I quote, come get your animal. So I had my dog with me at my parents'. My parents already had 3 dogs, all untrained devils who are aggressive to other dogs and each other on occasion, plus my brother's 3. My mom's dog did not like my dog. Even when I'd sometimes keep my dog at the house if my ex's dad had an appointment or something, she always seemed to try to jump at the chance to attack my dog, who wasn't ever aggressive and just wanted to be friends. Because of this, my parents got rid of my dog. My mom repetitively told me she didn't want to and she felt bad for my dog, who was adopted and a former street puppy, but also thinly laced everything she said with blaming me for being depressed and busy with school so I couldn't take care of her 24/7. I found out they got rid of her while driving to work. I had called my mom to ask her something and she just dropped it on me. By the way, your dad took Macy, my dog. The people, getting Macy, are so excited. They've already got her all kinds of new toys. I cried. They had taken her while I was completely unaware and gone for the weekend. I didn't even get to say bye to my baby girl. It's nearing on being a year since then, but every time I think about her I start crying. I hope she's doing well, and I hope she's really happy and has grown into a bigger, goofier, even more loving puppy. I miss you, Macy, and I really wish I could see you again. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.